Hello, fellow nerds, and welcome to the episode. Just want to give a quick spoiler disclaimer here at the beginning of the episode. We're going to be talking about some different universes of fandoms, and I've come to realize through editing that we're going to be talking about a lot of spoilers. So, this is your spoiler warning. Also wanted to give you guys a heads up. There is a kind of a jump cut in around the 34-minute mark. We were having some connectivity issues where it was lagging a little bit for the recording. So again, apologize for the audio quality. We're getting better, but still hammering out all the kinks. So we appreciate you guys sticking around with us and listening and joining us. I really hope you enjoy the episode. And let's get to it. Hello, and welcome to Three Nerds Deep. My name is Adam, and I'm joined today by Andrew and Andy. Say hello, nerds.
Hello, nerds.
And welcome to our podcast today. Today we are going to be talking about our favorite fantasy universes that we would potentially like to live in or be a part of. And then also ones we definitely don't, because there are some that you definitely don't want to end up in. Not good for you. Not fun.
I also feel like this episode is going to be the most realistic to how we actually just have conversations on a regular basis.
Definitely.
Yeah, I can see that.
Due to the nature of the topic.
Right.
We're going to be jumping around. We are not going to be able to stay on one topic for very long, I feel like.
Agreed.
So, we're going to do our best.
Alrighty, should we start with where we'd want to live first or where we don't want to live first?
Well, if we start with where we want to live first, then we have to end on where we don't want to live, which sounds sad. Maybe we go up and down.
All right.
Or down then up.
Yeah, I don't even know.
All right.
How about just follow your heart, Adam?
Okay. Well, I will go first, and I'll just start off.
Which one do you want to start with? Then?
I want to start with where my number one place I don't want to live. Granted, all these are pretty close together, just because of the nature of the worlds. But my number one...
I had a harder time finding places I would want to live in.
Agreed. Because like even some of the ones I would want to live in, it's like there's some like asterisks. You know, like I would want to live there.
Also...
But...
yeah. Also, how did you guys approach this, I suppose, before we went into it? Because I'm approaching it like I am just an average Joe Schmo in this universe.
Right.
I kind of did the same.
Mine's very similar, but I both did that, and I was like, well, what would be the best universe to like be an important person in as well? And kind of like compared the two. Because even as an important person, some of these worlds would still suck. Or still be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
But...
Well, like, I went about it... Like, I was like, okay, this is a universe I want to live in. And then it's like, well, I have to have, like, an occupation. Like, I have to I have to like do something while I'm living in this universe. So like it's not like I put myself as the main character of the story, but I definitely am like, I would have this job if I lived in this area,
Right.
Is there any universe where you're like, I'm the main person in this universe? Where you're like, I would be this awesome if it was this
That
universe?
I am the one.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I did because
Okay.
I don't have. Maybe I have low self-esteem, but I don't see myself as being, the guy. Maybe
What if
that's a
it's
me problem. I don't know.
what if it's the Spy Kids universe, and then you are the guy?
But then I die, like as soon as I
Oh,
walk through the
that's true.
door.
Does that not make sense?
I feel like that fits for
Dude,
Andy.
that was one of the when that movie came out. That was one of the funniest things I'd
Dude.
ever seen.
The
I was like,
I-
what
I'm pretty
just
sure on the
happened?
playground we would reenact that scene and be like, "I'm the guy," and then just biff it on whatever we were doing.
I feel like we need to just overall like talk about spoiler warnings real quick
Yes,
because they're gonna happen.
that's true. Yeah, I was gonna say before I get to some of mine, I was gonna say light spoiler, in case you haven't read the books or saw the shows or whatever.
I'm gonna say heavy spoilers because we're gonna be not real
I guess that's
like,
true.
quiet.
Might have to
probably.
add a little clip in the beginning
Yeah.
saying spoiler alert or
Like,
in the description.
I guess, for example, to add to the guy, have you ever seen the movie Cabin in the Woods?
Yes. So
I feel
good.
I feel like Elijah Wood and Chris Hemsworth have the same energy in those movies.
I haven't watched.
Doesn't Chris Hemsworth ride his motorcycle into the
Into the
electronic
barrier
barrier?
And
Blows up or whatever. Like,
Yes.
he's going to save it. I can make it if I just make it there, and then like he's going to save the day. It's very much Elijah Wood in Spy Kids 3D.
Right.
It's the same energy right there. And
Yeah.
anyway, this is just another day in the life of our conversations. So, Adam,
you're number one least wanting to live there.
So this is hard. I don't know if it's actually my number one, but it's like a lot of these are very close. My number one would be the world universe of the Starlight Archive. Now I've only read most of the first book, but
I don't even know what you're
so
talking about.
Stormlight Archive is by Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, Stormlight.
Yeah.
I thought you said Starlight.
No.
I was like, what is the Starlight?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to live in
No,
the Stormlight?
not at all. So I love the book. I've only listened to because I've been doing it on audiobook, and I'm like most of the way through it. But it's a long audiobook. It's like 42 hours long. Like it's crazy long. But they have a very strict
Oh, yeah, I have
caste
heard of this.
system. Very strict. Like if I have brown eye, like if they're the main split is between light eyes and dark eyes. So light eyes like blue, green. I think somebody in there has like violet or something eyes, and then everybody else with like brown eyes and even like people with like dark gray or whatever eyes like are subservient to the light eyes. And then in that subservience there's different tiers that you can be of the dark eyes, and like the light eyes can pretty much do whatever they want to the brown eyes or dark eyes. And also in the spoiler alert, kinda, it happens in the first like 10 minutes of the book, but like the main place that you are at has been at war for the last 6 years. I think 5 or 6 years, because the king got assassinated and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to declare war on these people we think killed him, and we're going to fight a attrition war for 5 years. And like it's just horrible. Like I don't like, and mainly anything that has to do with any kind of caste system is just, I don't know, horrible. Maybe it's because I'm
Yeah, usually caste systems are not great for most of the people.
right. Yeah, so like I'm a very like believe in picking yourself up by the bootstraps and working hard and getting yourself out of struggles. And it's like in that kind of thing, you can't really do that. And like there's ways to like get higher tiers in the cast, but like it's not easy, and virtually like it takes generations to like get yourself up. And even if you're the top of the Dark Eyed cast, you're still subservient to any Light Eyes. Now, like even your child, if you somehow have a child that's a Light Eyes, they're automatically higher than you, which I guess is good. But yeah, it's crazy. And like there's a bunch of stuff with people looking down on race mixing type of thing. It doesn't seem very good. And I'm not sure if that's my actual number one, but that's the most recent book that I've been reading, and so it came to the forefront of my mind when thinking about this. So I think there could be worse, but yeah, it's just like recency bias. I had it number one.
Oh, okay. So my first hot take. This sounds like a experiment that a teacher ran with her class, and I think it was the 80s, maybe the 70s. Have you heard of this?
No.
It was a big famous thing. It was a commentary on racism, where she literally told about half of her class, maybe not entirely half. She told the class they were having a lesson on racism, and this was with I think like third graders, and this is totally something that would not fly nowadays.
Right.
But she told them that all of the blue-eyed and green-eyed kids were better than the brown-eyed kids, and just said they're better. Like you are. You were born with blue eyes. You're just automatically a stronger, smarter person. And essentially taught these kids over the course of the day to that all the brown-eyed kids are awful. And like just watched them go out at recess, and you would just see kids that would be friends normally would stop being friends with kids because they had brown eyes, and would just look down on them. And it was a whole project in racism, and she had to talk to him about it. It's a pretty famous thing. You should look it up. And it's real weird, and there would be lots of complaints. Now, she did explain to him that this isn't the case afterwards. There were some real messed up kids in there being like, ugh, those brown-eyed kids are awful. They're the worst. They're so stupid. So it reminds me of that.
Yeah, maybe Brandon Sanderson was part of that class. Who knows? But
maybe he was.
Maybe it was. Well, it's very similar to Red Rising. I don't know if you guys have read that book.
it's on my to read list.
Another sci-fi book. I love it. I need to read the other ones because there's a couple more books after the Red Rising. But I read Red Rising. Couldn't put it down when I was reading it. But it's a similar thing. People all have like different tints of skin color, and if you're a certain tint, then you're like looked down upon. But yeah, caste systems in general, no bueno. Not a fan.
Yeah. And now, don't get me wrong. So far, Stormlight Archive, great book. Great book. It's just
Just wouldn't want to live there.
Not at all.
Which is what we're going
Right.
for.
I feel like we could cast most of these universes as places we wouldn't want to live. Like, there's a lot out there that we will enjoy watching in movies, we will enjoy watching on TV, we will enjoy reading in books. But to actually live there? No. That's why it's a book. That's why it's fantasy.
Right.
Because hopefully we aren't that bad, But then you read some things that are a little more realistic, and you're like, okay, we're that bad. Like we're not great.
Right.
But
All right.
All right. Who wants to go next?
yeah. I mean, I feel like there is by far worse places out there to live.
I agree, but I get
By
Adam's recency
far.
bias because that's what he's been reading.
Yeah.
I get that
No,
part.
and it doesn't sound fun. Definitely doesn't sound fun. That being said, I think you could actually live there.
Right.
This is a place where like you could have a life. Don't know what you would necessarily do. You could have a life there, and you could live, as opposed to other places. I'm actually torn between two. Can I have two?
Yeah.
Can I have two?
Go for it.
Because they're both very different reasons, but there's still two. And this is coming from the average Joe's point of view. The first one that I don't think is so obvious, but it's the boys universe.
Oh.
It's very obvious. I don't know why you said it's not as obvious, dude. That's so obvious.
Dude,
It's
I
true.
didn't have
So
it.
I'm
obvious.
glad you're in the same place.
I didn't have it on my list, but now that I'm looking at my list, like it's mainly like books and things. But like
Right.
I don't have. But the boys would be horrible.
So, and I even read the first of the volumes of The Boys, and it's like, as an average Joe in that universe, like, what's the point? I get that I get that part of it is like once you realize that everything around you is just so messed up,
Right.
that you want to fight it, and you're the average Joe, and that's kind of the point. Is you can do that still. Which is depicted a lot better. That narrative is depicted a lot better in the comic books than it is in the TV show that we've delved into now.
Right.
But the idea that you are just cannon fodder, no matter where you are, to all of the different superheroes, which is everywhere. That at any
Yeah.
point in time, you could just be killed, and they would just write your name out of history with money and a check. And it's not even like very secretive. It's just, oh, it's done.
Yeah, I don't want to live in a world where somebody runs through my girlfriend and she turns into mist, and it's just like, oh man, sorry about that. Here's some money. It's like I don't want to live in that world.
I'll be honest. I actually
Like,
put, and I'm more I think about it, I would put any universe where I'm an average Joe that there are superheroes.
Yep.
Like Invincible is
I just
also
put The Boys.
not a great universe to live in if you're just a normal person. If we're going that average Joe thing,
Right.
like the whole, I'm
Well,
thinking
I
of
put
the
in the-
whole ending, like last episode of Invincible, where they literally kill. I don't. Is it the last episode of the first
Major
season?
spoilers.
Right, but we already gave the spoiler warning. But in the
I know, we're just saying.
for end of first season, like when he's getting pummeled by his dad, like they literally kill hundreds, if not
Oh, yeah.
thousands, of people in like
Yeah.
30 seconds. Like and
Yeah.
like the only one that so far I don't know, but like I'd be okay maybe living in Metropolis because Superman did a pretty good job of making sure the casualties were very light.
Well, the new Superman.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Well, Superman in general.
Well, Henry Cavill's
but-
Superman didn't really
Henry,
care.
Henry Cavill's Superman did not
No.
did not do a good
I-
job of saving
I
people
hear
in general.
you. I
But
hear you. I'm talking Superman as a character.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be the only
Yeah.
one I would trust. Maybe the Flash. The Flash would be good too, but
No.
well, he'd be good at keeping.
no, he could still run through your girlfriend and turn her into
Right,
Red
but
Nest
he
on
wouldn't.
accident.
No, he would make a lot of mistakes and then try to time force or speed force his
That's
way
true.
out of it.
And then
mess
all of a
something
sudden,
else up.
you end up like on the CW Arrow show where Diggs, instead of having a daughter, has a son or something like that because you
Yeah.
mess with the timeline.
Right, but I mean, if
But
we're
I
honest,
guess-
that only happens a couple times. Like, for the most part.
He messes with the Speed Force a lot.
A lot.
I know.
It's kind of DC's like
It's their
reset
main
button.
thing.
Oh
It's
no,
their-
we rode ourselves into a corner. What do we do?
Flash,
Speed
go
Force.
really
Right,
fast
but is
into
that
the
the
past.
Flash's fault or the writer's fault? I mean, come on. Would the Flash as a person, without being forced to by the writers, actually just go willy-nilly and change the timeline?
Yes, he would, because
Yes, he
that's the
would.
personality the writers gave him.
I don't know.
So I chose
Alright.
the boys though, mostly out of all of the superheroes because there's not.
That's like worst case
good-
scenario of the superhero thing.
Yeah, that's like they were like, okay, what if everyone had superpowers? Let's be a little bit more realistic about it. Not everyone's going to be perfect and honorable about their superpowers. We're going to have a lot of people who are probably villains or anti-villains. Anti-heroes. I spoke anti-villain because they're like, I'm kind
They're
of a
mostly
hero.
dirtbags.
But they're mostly dirtbags.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. What is it?
So, that was-
95% of the people with superpowers in that show are horrible people. At least the ones that they show.
Yeah. Yeah, and even the ones that are raising them that are normal are still dirtbags. It's just not. I almost put one on a list, but I thought it was kind of dated. This is not the second one I was considering. Did you guys ever play the video game Primal Rage?
I don't think so.
It sounds
Yeah.
familiar, but I don't know if I ever played it.
Alright, it's a little niche. I won't talk about it much, but it's a video game about a bunch of gigantic prehistoric dinosaur type of creatures that are conquering the planet, and it's now worshipped. They're worshipped as gods. It's actually a fighting game, and you can gain health by eating your worshippers. And that's all that's left of humanity is just people who worship these gods, these quote unquote gods, that are just like eat you and sacrifice you. I thought that'd be a pretty awful universe because you're just an average Joe.
That is pretty
and
bad.
You would just get eaten. But in the same vein, I went from that route and I went, okay, what's a more current version of that? What is a world where you have the biggest threat of being eaten? And that led me to The Walking Dead.
Yep, that'd be
That
pretty
would
bad.
be a terrible universe to live in.
Agreed.
Whether you were before or after or anywhere in between, sure, eventually you have to start worrying about the humans that aren't eating you again, but the fact that there's still a giant threat of these things eating you, really, you could almost put, I feel like you could almost say any zombie universe. However, I choose The Walking Dead specifically because even the people are
Yeah.
awful
Yeah.
all the time.
The only thing that I would say is I feel like the World War Z zombie universe would be worse because those things run.
Yeah.
No, dude. World War Z, 28 Days, like there are smarter, faster zombies out there. The problem isn't necessarily just the zombies.
It's the people in Walking Dead too.
It's the
like,
people.
Yeah, because the only people still
Supposed to be
alive
stuck
are
in
the
that
horrible
narrative.
people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's hopeless.
And then like when you watch Walking Dead, you steadily see like the good people slowly become the bad people.
Yeah. And
Like Rick.
And the good people die.
Yep.
Or become zombies. And if I'm an average Joe, if I'm an average Joe in that show, I'm dead. Like I'm,
Yeah, you're
I'm
dead pretty early. Like
dead pretty early. Like
You're
you
like
don't,
the-
you don't make it.
you're like as is it John Panette talks about? He's like in a horror movie, the fat guy is always the happy jolly one who gets killed in the first 5 minutes because he's like, I'm gonna go see what's going on over there. Like
Right.
Anybody want a s'more?
That's true.
Dead.
exactly.
Dude, I agree.
so-
Walking Dead would be horrible. And I will never forgive the show for killing off Glenn. That's when I stopped watching. Just so everybody knows. Couldn't do
That-
it. I know it's
nope.
in the comics,
I forgive you, Walking Dead, for it. It's
I
written
know
in the comics. Had
it's
to
in the
happen,
comics,
and it was emotional.
but no. They changed so much from the comics. They could have changed that. Like, he was the last character
a
with
small
hope.
flicker of hope.
He was the last
It gave
character.
us a small flicker of hope that the show was gonna be good, and then it lasted a whole 2 episodes after that, and then people stopped caring after that season.
Yeah.
It's still kind of running now.
Yeah, they got the spin-offs and stuff.
Like the spin-offs. You love me some Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Negan, though. He did.
I mean,
great
he
job.
was born. He
he's
was
very good
born
at
for
that.
that role. Like, yeah.
I don't know. He does.
It's-
I think if you ever cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan, it might be a little bit niche. Like he's probably pinholed himself into certain things, but he does great in all the roles I've seen him in. I've never watched him and been like, "That's a bad role."
Right.
Jackie was
He's-
watching ER the other day, and he was a guy that was pinned with his leg, and he was screaming. I was like, I totally believe Jeffrey Dean Morgan has his leg pinned in that. And
Dude, he does a fantastic job as John Winchester.
Yeah.
In Supernatural, he does a good job as Conquest in Invincible. I'm pretty sure
voice acting.
he's a voice actor for Conquest. But
Which people were really thrilled
I can
because Glenn
think
was
of-
getting his just desserts for that, is what people were saying. Because the same actor
Yeah.
is the guy who plays Invincible.
that's true.
Mm,
I could
that's
think
true.
of my list of not wanting to live. There's 2 big ones. Adam, I'm surprised you didn't say this one. The Warhammer 40K.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought that too.
Yeah.
Don't do
That
it.
is
Dude,
the
why didn't I even
worst.
think of that? Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's so bad. Like,
That
I
was
loved
one I
playing
thought-
the video game when we were all playing the video game together. I loved playing it. But I was just thinking, like, this would suck. Like, if
Dude,
this was real.
It would
like,
suck.
Here's
You've
the
got
thing
the
about
Tyranids, you've got the
Dude,
Orcs, you've
you-
got the Chaos
you've got the
Marines, all these
humans.
bad guys that are just...
You've got the
humans.
Imperium of Man, who, there's no good guys in here.
sacrifice their people to the God Emperor.
No
Like, if
good
you
guys.
happen to be born with Psyker powers, you get forced into service where a lot of times you're either sacrificed to the God Emperor or you're like, it's just
If
not
you even
good.
make it
Like,
there,
it's-
because they put you on a black ship that nullifies your powers, and most of them go insane and kill themselves or die. From dude, it is. I don't even. I'm sorry. There's no other answer. Like, we can go through the rest, but I can't believe I didn't even think of it. Yeah, dude, the Warhammer 40K. There
I
are
thought
no good
about it.
guys. The Tau, when they first introduced the Tau,
I-
they were supposed to seem kind of a good guy thing. They were all about the greater good, but then all of a sudden they twisted it, and when they updated it, and they're all being mind controlled by another alien species.
You know-
to-
there is a good guy in Warhammer 40K. It's the Salamanders. What's their leader's name? I can't remember off the top of my
Vulcan.
head. Vulcan. The green
Right,
salamanders.
but
those are
even
the good
he's
guys.
tainted because he got well. So again, I've been
Yeah,
on
I
a
know.
I had my phase of binging all the lore for Warhammer 40K, and he literally was, because he's a perpetual, which means he dies and he comes back to life. One of the other fallen Primarchs literally tortured him and killed him thousands of times. And it talks about how his brain is a little warped from that. He's not off slaughtering people,
Yeah,
but
that
he
makes
ain't
sense.
all there anymore, and he's been disappeared for a while. So but you got the good, you've got good people who are characters, but as factions as a whole, there's no good guys. You
Yeah.
got
That was
here's
the first one
another
that
reason.
in my mind because
Another reason
It's
why
just
40K,
crazy.
Warhammer 40K is probably the worst universe. There's no average Joes. They're already dead. There's no average
Well,
Joes.
they got
no,
average
they've got
Joes.
average Joes,
Do
but
they?
you
I
can
don't-
you can automatically chalk this one up to this guy's dead. They're just
They're dead, or there's some grit. They're doing something. You don't have anybody in the Warhammer 40K universe that's just sitting there hanging out in their own planet zone. No, everybody's in danger 100% of the time.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. You're in the fight.
sort of.
It's like you can be an average Joe and live on your planet, but everybody knows if the Tyranids or the Orcs or whoever shows up on your planet,
No,
you're done.
dude,
You're
that's-
just dead. There's no.
That's one of the craziest things.
Or you're in the fight.
That-
Or you're already in
right,
the fight.
but that's one of the
Yeah.
craziest things is most. Say we're talking about the Imperium of Man, but most of the Imperium of Man has no idea what's going on in the greater galaxy. Like because one of the reasons why there's so many issues is because they don't tell anybody about, hey, watch out for this or this or this, like chaos. Like anybody who even talks about chaos or finds out about chaos, the Inquisition, which is the most horrible people in the Imperium, will come and kill you because you saw chaos. You saw corruption. You see a Xenos, more than likely you're going to be killed by the Inquisition. It's like, so you have no idea how, like, you know your life is horrible, but like your life is just horrible because you live on a hive world. Like hive worlds are literally worlds that the Imperium has that has billions and trillions of people on there that they literally go to scoop up people when they need, like, you know, obviously most of the time there's factories and stuff there, you know, for them to make stuff, but like they're literally just there to fill the Imperium's war machine. Like Space Marines will come and grab up children to see if they can become Space Marines. You know, they'll come because there's the stuff called the Imperial Tithe, and like you have to give them X amount of psychers every time the tithe ships come, or X amount of people, and like if you don't do that, good chance they're gonna start killing some people because you're not in compliance. Like it's just horrible. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
I'm so dumb. Like it's
I think the argument
you are dumb, Adam. Like it's
I think
like,
the argument between that and the Walking Dead is really about, do you want to, as an average Joe, do you want to die probably fairly quickly, a horrible death, or do you want to die slow and painfully with a whole lot of psychological trauma on top of that, which is Warhammer 40K, which I think that one is the right call. I think that one's the worst one. Until somebody can show me somewhere in the 40K lore, there's a peaceful planet that people can live, and that's a happy place. Sure, I will be like, okay, sure, that's a thing that could happen, because Warhammer 40K does have a broader spectrum of possible planets that things can live on. That being said, they're going to turn into war zones eventually.
Oh,
because that's the war machine.
And to go off of Warhammer 40K, we just got to lump in the Warhammer universe, which is like the medieval fantasy version.
Yeah.
That place is also, I don't know if it's quite as bad. Granted, that universe did end.
it's pretty bad.
End. You know, like they ended it. Like the whole world was destroyed.
Oh, okay.
It just doesn't
Yeah, and
exist
then
anymore.
they kind of rebooted it.
That doesn't matter.
They rebooted it, but yeah.
Doesn't
So
matter.
like eventually it does end, but like day to day, I feel like until that end times happens, I feel like it may not have been bad, but I'm not as familiar with that lore. But yeah, the Warhammer fantasy universe would also be horrible to live in.
Another one that came to mind when it's like not wanting to live there. I thought of it, but my wife texted me because she can hear us talking about it. Is the what'd she say? The Hunger Games universe.
That would be bad.
Yeah, I can see that.
But once
I
again,
don't necessarily think
you
it's
could
the worst one, but
it's not the
definitely
worst.
a bad one. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's
You
definitely a
could-
bad one.
You could either be in the capital and then you're just kind of complicit and everything. It's way too real, you know. We are Americans. Yeah, it's okay. Or
Fallout
or
universe.
your-
I also thought of as an option, as kind of an honorable mention. The Fallout universe seems pretty terrible. I don't know a lot about Fallout, but I've been getting a lot of stuff on my YouTube recommendations about Fallout, and it doesn't look great.
It's not great.
There's
I don't know
definitely
if it's
worse
the
ones.
worst. There's definitely
No.
worse ones out there.
I think we're agreed that Warhammer 40K is the worst one.
That's the one.
But-
Can we think of one that is in fact worse than Warhammer 40K? Because I don't think we can.
No.
Like I also thought this is kind of, I don't know if you guys thought of it. The Doctor Who universe sounds pretty scary to live in. Like you got, like I'm not
There's a lot of
saying-
peaceful
again,
planets
Right.
there out there.
There are, but like there's also some very creepy, scary things. But there's also creepy, scary things
Right.
in real life too.
Yeah.
So what I'm just saying is, I don't want to live in any universe.
Right.
Apparently,
So had a little technical difficulties, but we're back. Yeah. So I don't know if Doctor Who I would say would be horrible because there's a lot of like there's some episodes where besides the isolated incident, like it's pretty peaceful there.
yeah. I'm just thinking like you've got alien werewolves, you've got the weeping angels, you've got those like slug-looking aliens that can turn your body into a meat suit.
Yeah.
Like there's like if you think about it, like it's pretty bad. Like, but again, it's not worse than the Warhammer 40K.
I think at this
universe.
point
I can't
we've
think.
established that nothing's worse than Warhammer.
I can't think of
but
one.
I have a few honorable mentions that I think would be not great. But
Well, let's
so
hear 'em.
the Dune universe, I think would be pretty bad. Again, not Warhammer 40K bad, but I've read.
I don't know enough about the Dune.
I read the
universe
first
to know.
two
anything.
Dune books in the Dune series, and what I've come to realize is out of the 4 named planets that I know of, because I might have missed one, 3 of them are horrible places to live. So you got Arrakis, aka Dune. Literally, it's a hellscape.
Mhm.
It's horrible. Like it almost seems like in the book, like yeah, you get almost like brainwashed into thinking it's got its own beauty, but no, it's like it's a hellscape. Like literally, when you're on the planet, if you're on the planet for too long, you even just breathing the air, you get addicted to the spice. So now, if you go without the spice, you die.
Yeah.
So, and then also, the spoiler alert, but Paul Atreides becomes their messiah, even though he doesn't want to. But and then the what are they called? Starts with an F. But anyway, the Freeman.
The Freeman,
Yeah, Fremen.
or whatever.
Fremen, that's what they're called. I don't know why my brain
the
went,
Fremen.
but they literally go on a jihad, and they don't really go in depth into what actual like details. But like in the second book, he's like, yeah, how many trillions upon trillions of people died in the jihad, just because the Fremen was like, hey, we got our messiah, you got he's the emperor of man now, so like you bow down or we're going to kill you, and they do. And there's like the Bene Gesserit, like they're horrible. Dune, in my opinion, could have been stopped, but with the Bene Gesserit just not interfering with bloodlines, it's all eugenics. That's all the storyline is. Not again, great books, really enjoyed them, but like, yeah, I would not want to live in this. But again, I don't think it's as bad as some of the others, but that's why it's one of my honorable mentions. I also, another one for just being an average Joe person, the Game of Thrones universe would be...
Oh yeah, I feel like that's an obvious one.
Specifically, I would say the worst would be to be in the Riverlands in the Game of Thrones.
Or King's Landing.
No, King's Landing. I don't know. King's Landing.
Yes,
Riverland.
Daenerys burns it down, but literally in the Riverlands...
Not even that. Like, they're starving and dying of plague in
Right.
King's Landing all the time while the
What's the
Baratheons are in
political?
charge.
Just the
It's
political
like,
climate.
it's like, who's the king now? Oh, it's that guy. Oh, let me know in a week if he's still the
Right,
king. Like,
but in my opinion,
would be
Riverlands
terrible.
is worse because, I have a bunch of the, guide guidebooks,
does
but
get
every
burned down
time
a
there's a
lot.
conflict or war, it's like, oh, I'm going to go burn down the Riverlands. It's like, during the Dance of Dragons, most of the conflicts happen around the Riverlands. Like, Gregor Clegane, he just goes and starts burning stuff down and killing people, which leads to bandits, and just Riverlands always gets burnt down.
I'm just picturing in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Every time they make a Robin Hood, they burn down our
Right.
village. And that's how the Riverlands is. Every time somebody's mad at the other lord, they burn down
And it's
their
just because
village.
it's strategically in the worst spot. It's literally in the middle of everybody. Like, it just...
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
That one
like,
would be
even
pretty bad.
before Aegon's conquest, like, the Riverlands had been conquered by the Ironborn. And, forcibly conquered by the Ironborn. And not treated very well. There's a reason why the Riverlanders joined Aegon pretty easily. So, yeah, it's just... And then there's a bunch of other reasons, but, like, in my brain, Riverlands would be one of the worst. There could be very good instances where living in Game of Thrones wouldn't be so bad. Like, being, like, a successful merchant in, like, the free cities would be pretty good.
Yeah.
You'd have a pretty easy life. Heck, even being a knight, besides going to war all the time, you'd be set pretty good, but then you gotta occasionally go out and start hacking away at people. But...
Dude, I just thought of this just while we were talking. What about the Exandria universe from Critical Role? Being an average Joe during that stuff.
See, I don't know. I don't think that would be that
I mean...
I mean, if you were an average Joe in Iman when the dragons take over.
Yeah, but that's if you're talking about the whole universe, and that's just one city. Like,
I mean, if you really break down any
whole,
universe, if you isolate the important stuff, like, most of it would be all horrible, or else you wouldn't have a good story, But I feel like Exandria wouldn't be too bad. Now, if you lived in Amon during the dragon attack, yes, that would be horrible. But it wouldn't last very long. You'd die very quickly. Like,
That's true.
And,
That's true.
And it doesn't matter where you live as an average Joe. There's still a small chance you can do some magic, even if it's a little bit.
That's true.
It's just like a minor illusion. It's like, stop it, Billy.
Right.
It was dog poop or something. Like you're some stupid kid. Like, you can maybe conjure a little bit.
I also have...
Or have a magic item.
Yeah, if
I also
anything.
have an underrated pick, I think, because we're all men in this podcast, is the Wheel of Time universe. Because if you are a man and you get cursed with being able to wield Sidar, or however you pronounce it, you go crazy and kill people. Like, you go nuts. So...
Well, Rand fixes
right,
it, though.
eventually, but there's like hundreds, if not thousands, of years.
So you're saying you're saying pre-Rand cleansing the power.
Yeah,
would be bad. That's true.
Well, and
It would be bad. Or you have like the worst people who have it the worst off in the Wheel of Time is the people who live next to the light. Like literally you're being invaded and you can literally see the rot of the blight like creeping closer.
That's why
and
those
closer
guys
to your home. Like
I can't think
terrible. But they're also the coolest people in the
right. I'm trying to think because I can't. It's been a while. It's been a long time since I read the books. It's actually on my list to reread them. But like I can't remember their names. But like Lan, where Lan is from.
Lan Mandrat.
Yeah,
Mandragon
and all.
or Mandodra.
And you got the guys who are basically samurais. Like, it's just So a cool world, great books,
cool.
but like, feel like if you,
wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah. So.
All right, we should move on. All right, we should move on to where we would like to live.
Who wants?
Adam, do you want to go first?
I
Adam, do
would
you wanna
love
go
to.
First?
I want to hear these. These are the harder choices.
Because you can nitpick anything.
Because you can
nitpick anything and be like, "Oh, that would be a problem."
Right.
Well, that would
Exactly.
be a problem.
So I'm.
But-
Or
So
you could go too boring. arguably. You could be like, I don't know if I'd
Right.
want to live there.
And
It
where
seems too
this is
safe.
where some of these I kind of went like if I'm more like I don't know, not like the main character, but like I'm slightly more important. Some of these would be pretty good. Like so my number one, this is in my opinion the best universe to live would be the Star Trek universe.
I knew you were going to say that.
I knew you were gonna say that, and I also had it like it was like number
Right.
2
And my
on my
reasoning
list.
is like at so take the era of the Next Generation with Captain Picard. Like Earth is a utopia pretty much. Like
Yeah.
as average Joe, they don't use currency. Like they don't have currency, you know, I don't know exactly how the system works, but like you do stuff because you want to. Like
you become a like super high brain scientist not because it makes a bunch of money. It's because you want to.
And I'm also
You want to be an engineer, you be an engineer not because it pays well, but because you just like the way things work.
Right.
You want to
And,
figure
like,
it out.
also like I think being in Starfleet would be like the coolest thing ever. And you know, obviously the show,
pretty cool.
you know, those events happen a lot, but as long as you're not part of the Enterprise, life would be pretty chill in Starfleet. Because you know, occasionally the Borg attack, but that doesn't happen every day. Occasionally you have Klingons.
Let's pause.
But
Yes. Hold on, because you got to think of the whole universe. And you were thinking of being
right, I'm
on
thinking
Earth.
of being
And
a
you're talking about the whole universe. There's a chance you could be an average Joe Klingon, which would be not fun.
no, you gotta think. If you're an average Joe Klingon, you think like a Klingon, so it would be fun.
Pretty great.
Okay, so
Yeah,
maybe it
like
would be
if
fun.
you, yeah,
There,
because
but there are definitely other planets that are not having as good a time as the utopia
Right,
that
but
Earth has become. I'm not arguing against it. It's a good, solid choice. But I just want to make sure
Right.
we're thinking.
I was thinking of
outside
putting
of
myself
just the
as a
utopia.
human in that universe as a human.
Right.
You know, because like most at this point,
Yep.
like most of the time, like most of the conflict is with races that also are at like their peak. So like Klingons, and the Klingons are eventually become allies with the Federation, and there's less war with them, and then
Right.
they're fighting Romulans, which maybe being in the Romulan society would suck, just because there's so much backstabbing and distrust and stuff.
Yeah.
Or being a Bajoran, which we're under the thumb of the Cardassians. But like, yeah, there is, and that's why like if you nitpick it, there are places where you would not want to live. But as a human,
It also gives it that
right?
adventure.
And but as a human living on Earth, gotta be one of the best places.
Yeah, like I said, we could nitpick these until we talk ourselves out of them. But I do think your pick is a good pick.
it's a good pick.
Yeah. So plus, I've been on a huge Star Trek kick too, and I think being in Starfleet would be awesome.
Being in Starfleet would be cool. Being in Starfleet
Now,
would be cool.
am I?
What would you want to be in Starfleet? Would you want to be a science engineer or security? Like, what would you want to do, Adam, if you're in Starfleet?
Hot take. I think if you were doing security, it'd be a little bit dreary and boring.
Yeah, you might be sitting at a desk
Yeah.
all day.
Well, I would
just
think.
checking
I
people
feel
in.
like. I don't know. I'd probably start out in security, but then I'd probably. I mean, everybody wants to be the captain of a spaceship, so I'd probably take the. I think it's like the command test, and then be put into like commander track or whatever. But because if you stay in straight security, you'll never become like a captain or whatever. Like the highest rank you can get,
Yeah.
I think, is like a commander or something. But
as long as you're not a yellow
shirt.
shirt. No, yellow shirt in the or is it yellow
No,
shirt
it's
in
red
the
shirt in the
original?
original.
Red shirt.
Yellow
in the original,
shirt
yeah.
in Star Trek Voyager.
Only on the Enterprise,
Right.
really, though.
Oh yeah, Star Trek Voyager. They changed.
Yeah,
it up,
yellow
and it was
shirts
yellow
always
shirts that
died.
got killed.
I think one of the nice things about Star Trek Discovery is it's a nice mix of people that are getting killed, randomly.
Like if I was in Star Trek and I was in Starfleet and they handed me a red uniform, I'd be like, oh,
I'm trying
no.
to think. I'm trying to think what it was in Next Generation. It might have been red shirts because red shirts is because red
It was
shirts are
red
security,
shirts.
so they're always going to help make sure the captain's okay.
Yeah.
So obviously,
It's like-
more of them are going. Like it makes sense that they're the ones who die, but like at the same time, it's funny.
Like, hey, look, a character we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
And I
he's wearing a red shirt. We're
right,
never gonna see him
because like
again.
yellow, like in the original in the original show, yellow was for like command staff, and like, but then in Next Generation and I think onwards, yellow is like engineering, blue is science and medical,
Yeah.
and then red is security and
Yeah, I
command.
think so.
So, I think it almost everything.
Pretty sure you're
Yeah.
accurate there.
All right, Andrew. What do
Actually,
you, what,
I kind of want to hear yours, Andy, because I think mine are
Okay.
real out there. I kind of think mine are real out there. For me to go
So
second on this one, but I want to hear.
when it comes, like that's the thing is like for me to live somewhere. Again, I had to think of like, what's a job I would really want living in these. So I've got two. One of them is just kind of a boring pick. I would love to be a hobbit and live in the Shire.
Yep,
Just hanging
that's
out,
on my honorable mentions.
But are you
smoking
saying
my pipe, drinking
is that
some ale.
is this an honorable
Yeah.
mention, or is this like, are you saying the whole universe?
I think like the whole universe. Like I'm not. Again, I have another one that I'm gonna mention. But this is just my boring pick, like my boring safe. Safe job, safe whatever. Just being a
kinda.
hobbit in the Shire, killing time.
Dude.
Are you talking
Like-
about at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring or at the end of Return of the King? Because those are two different
Well-
Hobbits. Or
I mean,
the
eventually
Shires.
after Return of the King,
Yeah.
the Shire.
So
goes back to normal.
99%
Oh, actually,
of the timeline of
Of the
the
time.
Shire is
Shire is
peace and
awesome.
tranquility and fun times. You just got that little snippet
Exactly.
where
There's just
Saruman.
what it's.
That's if you get to pick
Right.
there, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if we kind of
That being
have to
said-
pick, because like if I was to be an average Joe in the Shire, that's what I would want.
It's still
To
a
live-
really good choice.
Yeah.
Now, this is my other pick that I'm going to use just because this one's not safe at all. But in my opinion, it's what I would want to do, even though it probably wouldn't be very smart to do. I would love to be an X-Wing fighter pilot in Star
Oh my
Wars.
Gosh.
I know it's not safe. I know, like, when we're talking about places we want to live, and I get that it's not a safe universe.
Dude, it
to
is
live
way
in.
safer than being a TIE fighter
But-
pilot.
This is true. But, like,
At least you.
maybe it's just because I love Star Wars, but like ever since I was a kid, everybody was like, "Oh, I want to be a Jedi. I'd be like, I want to be an X-wing pilot. Like
I'm
those
so
guys are
glad,
awesome."
though. I'm so glad you picked the Star Wars universe, because that's what I want to say. Because I think
Even though it's not safe, like it is not a
yeah.
safe universe to live in, but it would
all
be
the
fun.
not
Like-
of all of the not safe universes to pick, why wouldn't you pick Star Wars? Because there's a chance, even as an average Joe, you could have some type of force abilities, or you could be a really good pilot, or
Mhm.
you could be some type of political leader, or you could be part of the Rebel Alliance, or you could be born a Mandalorian, or you could be a foundling into becoming
Yep.
a Mandalorian. or you could just be some farmer in a beautiful planet because that exists too. Like, even the worst case scenarios still sound pretty fun and awesome, even if it kills you.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I don't know
why
if
I
it's
picked
the
it.
safest choice, but I think
It's
Right, I was gonna say
definitely not the
there's
safest choice.
space that has slavery and some like living in the outer rim would be not great.
right.
Oh,
Oh
again,
yeah.
it's not what is the best
Right.
universe to live in. It's
Yeah,
what
no,
we would
I have
want to
Star
live
Wars in my honorable mentions for sure, but I'm just saying there are still very not great places.
Oh. But when it comes to something so broad of an understood universe, like so far we've obviously we've talked about Warhammer, and then we've talked about Star Trek, and we've talked about Star Wars. Star Trek and Star Wars on the wide the wide spectrum of all the different things. 40K is so bad because it is so big and there is nowhere safe. There are definitely safe places in Star Trek and safe places in Star Wars. But Star Wars, it just seems like it's a little more fun of a place to have to live if you were going. Wouldn't it be great? It'd be dangerous. There's actually war in it, and the other one's just a trek. It's about a journey and about learning, and that's really great. And I like that too. But for some reason, I'm with Andy on this a little bit. Like living in the Star Wars universe at some point just seems kind of
Right.
dangerous fun.
No, I agree. I mean, I definitely have it in there. Like it's definitely like probably top 3. But yeah, I agree. So is that your number 1, Andrew?
You said Andrew to two Andrews.
Well, I
Which
call
one are you
it
talking
Andy,
to?
Andy, and you, Andrew. Yeah, you.
Oh, me? No, it's not. I didn't even really
Oh.
put it on my list, but I wanted to. I nixed it because of the unsafe factor. I was like, nah. It's just
Right.
I don't want to, but I do like it. I like the
Right.
adventurousness of it. If I wanted to pick the most adventurous place, I'd probably pick Star Wars. But that's
Right.
not what I.
Well,
picked.
I mean, the thing is, if we wanted to create the most, we could have done it, the episode of where is the most boring safe play universe to live in, but we didn't. We did which would we prefer to live in. So it makes sense. It tracks.
So when I was thinking of mine, I was thinking of at least a place I'm going to be there living safely. And then that took me into a weird dive of places that I didn't expect to go.
All right.
But I went there. I'm gonna share with you the journey. There's 3 places I went to. The first one is not the top of my list, but I do want to. This is where I got. This is where it started me off in my universes to live in. And it's not the top one, but I thought at first the Bluey universe.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean,
No, I mean it'd be safe, it'd be fun. It kind of would mimic my normal life, except for I'd be able to be a dog. And a big selling point on that, those dogs get to use toilets too. And I think that's a big deal. Like, we don't really know how anybody uses the bathroom. And if you've ever watched, what was it called? It was a Sylvester Stallone movie.
I know what you're
Demolition
talking
Man. Demolition Man. Where he goes and all of a sudden he doesn't know how to use the shells. Like, that gives me a little bit of anxiety to live in that world where you go like, what if you go to any of these universes that we've never seen anybody use the bathroom once? We just assume, and it's something completely different. So I like the idea of the safeness of knowing that I know how to use the bathroom
so
in the Blue
Andrew,
universe.
what you're saying is you just want to move to Australia.
No.
He wants to be a cartoon
In
dog,
Australia,
Adam.
though.
That's what he's
I want to
saying.
be a cartoon dog and be a good parent. Because it seems like all the adults have their lives figured out there. There's not one bad adult in the Bluey universe that we've met.
And that, to contradict that, we only see from the kids' point of view most of the time. We don't really see the parents.
It's not perfect.
Yeah, you do. You definitely see Chili and Bandit with a hangover in one of the episodes.
You definitely see Chili and Bandit dealing with the selling of their house.
Dude,
That's true.
I'll be honest. I'll be
job.
honest. Teared up at that episode.
I haven't watched
It's pretty,
that episode.
dude.
Oh my gosh,
It's so
it's
good.
a good episode.
It's so good.
It's a good
It's
show.
a great show.
Makes me wonder what kind of dog I would be.
I think you'd make a good blue healer. I feel like.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe a
I feel like I'm
sheepdog.
too big. Too big of a human being.
I think it'd be a
I'd be
bulldog.
a sheepdog, but I'm not as hairy as Andy, so I don't know if I could be a sheepdog. I do have more hair on my head than him.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we should look that up. There's an internet.
There's gotta be-
somewhere.
There's got to be a Facebook quiz or something, right?
Something out there. We should make a note, and we'll start the next pod with which dog we would be in the Bluey universe. I want to do that. We don't have to have a discussion. Just like a quick and this is
Follow
what
up
we
from our
figured out.
previous.
Okay, so then the next step. The next one that led me there is like, well, okay, if we're going cartoon world, where's a cartoon world I want to live in? And then that took me to the Pokemon universe. Because it seems like a fun, safe adventure. And there's also some battling and some adventuring that happens, but nobody ever dies. And apparently, if you're a main enough character, you just get to be the same age for the rest of your life.
Right. So what you're saying is you are pro enslaving animals, is what I'm hearing.
This is why I didn't stay there. Because I heard that and I was like, oh, this feels like a problem a little bit, though. Like, I like the idea of trying to be the very best, the best there ever was. But do I have to be like a slave driver to do it? I mean, technically, not everybody is, but those people do exist, and I don't know, man. Can you honestly say if you were born into the Pokemon universe, that you wouldn't just totally succumb to the power of having control over these things? And there's got to be an uprising that happens at some point in time, right?
That's the Pokemon I would
Mewtwo
watch.
was so close to it. At some point in time, those guys, that very peaceful and all that world is not going to be so good.
I would watch that.
It's not going to be
I'm
good.
surprised Robot Chicken never made an episode like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. I'm going to backtrack a little bit because that took me to another terrible place to live that I don't think we really think about, nor do I think we hear enough news about. And that's Angel Grove. In Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, that would be not great. Being attacked by aliens constantly and giant robots.
Giant robots and giant monsters
every week. It's like it happens once a week. I don't know what the deal is, but
Yeah, I would move.
Right.
Yeah, I would move.
Random
It's like we're not living in Angel Grove anymore. Like, I have one when at the end that I don't know if it's I want to live there or wouldn't want to live there. It's kind of both, but we could talk about it at the end because it just popped into my head. So
okay, and so then
I'll get your guys' verdict on it and like.
And that led me to the next thing, because the enslavement, but I wanted a little more adventure. Bluey universe sounds peaceful and very utopian, but it doesn't have enough adventure for me, except for the wonderful adventure of being a parent. And In Pokemon, just the idea of enslavement sounds rough. And then you could have the same argument for Digimon too, right? So then I went to a deeper realm.
Well, I feel like Digimon's less
I went-
slavery, from what I know of Digimon.
It's a little less.
Yeah, you don't have to
slavery.
capture
It's a
them,
little
right? You
less.
just
No, but then I do feel like there is that idea of getting trapped in the digital world. That's a
I
bit
guess that's true.
concerning. So there's that. But then that led me, I think, to the sweet spot of, dare I say, if you could isolate yourself to this universe, we would all kind of want to be there. And that is the Magic School Bus universe. Why? Because it's an adventure. Every day you go to school, but you always make it out and you learn something at the same time.
yeah, you learn not to eat the teacher's
And
brownies
doesn't that
that
just
she
sound
brought.
magical? That is not real in the universe. But
There's something going on.
I mean,
There's
come
something
on.
going on. They
Tell
were all
me-
tripping.
Tell me how awesome that would really be if that's what school was actually like. To be able to do that. Let me express
No, think about
this
this, though,
greatness.
Andrew.
I am.
What if
a
you were
red-
not
hold on.
in that class?
There's the possibility, but what if you didn't live in Hobbiton? Okay.
Yeah,
If
so
we
like
get
in
to
this,
isolate-
Andrew used the
That's true.
mindset of we're main characters.
Okay.
No, you kidding? They're not main characters. They're
Right.
kids. They're just normal.
But they're the
everyday
main
people.
characters. Like,
I suppose, but you can be a normal everyday person and be the main character in all of these,
they make a lot of anime
in
about
all three of them that I've.
that.
That's true. But the point is, I am a red-green colorblind person. Color deficient, I guess, is the PC term nowadays. And which apparently they had to do that. And I don't think it's technically like politically correct. I think it's just
You know who probably complained?
because people hear colorblind
Like-
people.
Non-colorblind people were
Non-colorblind
like,
people
you can't call them
probably
colorblind. That's offensive.
No. No, honestly, I think it was colorblind people because colorblind people were sick of explaining, no, I'm not actually colorblind. I can still see colors. It's just the pigments, blah, 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 blah. But, ironically, one of my favorite episodes of Magic School Bus is the color pinball episode. I don't know if you know that one, but it's one where they get put into a pinball machine and they have to learn how color or light reflects off of certain colors, and that's how we see colors. And to a colorblind person, it helped me actually learn what I was missing out on, and I didn't feel bad about my life for it.
Well, there we go.
So yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Could you imagine
That would be
taking a
pretty good.
school bus trip inside of your friend's digestive system? By the way, like, does that not sound just as terrifying and awesome? And you got to get out of there somehow. I was really concerned that they were gonna have to exit out of his butt watching that episode, and if you weren't, then you weren't paying attention.
Right.
Because I know they exit out like his nose or his mouth, but you're going through the whole digestive system. You're about to get real personal with your friend real quick if you get through this. That being said, would not
It's
want
like
to be Arnold. Wouldn't want to be that guy. That guy.
It's like in Scrubs where Turk is like, my hands were inside you after he did the surgery to JD. It's like I was inside you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
man.
And so that's why I've landed on. I think I would really enjoy being in Miss Frizzle's class, and just experimenting with all the things, all the drugs that she hands her kids, I suppose. No, there were no drugs. It was all magic. That's why it's called the Magic School Bus.
So that's a very solid pick. Outside the box thinking, I'll give you that. But
Yeah.
solid pick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't even
So-
think of that one.
I actually have a cartoon on my live list or whatever where I'd want to live.
Yeah.
And that would be in like kind of like post How to Train Your Dragon 1 Isle of Berk. I would love to have a dragon companion. That would be awesome. So
That would be cool. That's a good one.
I like that one.
yeah,
I like that.
I do. I have one that kind of like Andy said that he didn't know where to put it, and that's partly because we could be living in it right now. The Harry Potter universe. We could all be Muggles. We don't know.
That's true.
Well,
That's true.
Well, technically, we're not living in the Harry Potter universe because there isn't any literature that takes place in 2025. But if there is a wizarding world
Right.
out there, I'm real mad that we don't know. I'm real mad that we
Right?
don't know about
I'm real
it.
disappointed
So
that
if
I'm
you're
a
wizard
Muggle.
out there listening to this podcast. No, I'm not even disappointed that I'm a Muggle. I just want to know that these things are happening. So
Right.
that'd be great.
Because on one hand,
Yeah.
for the average
That
Joe
one is-
person, that would be a Muggle, right? So like you wouldn't even know anything's going on.
Yeah, because
And in the background, there's Voldemort trying to like cleanse the world of like mudbloods and Muggles or whatever. But you don't know. You don't know what's going on.
but if you could pick, you would definitely want to be a wizard. in
Oh,
Harry
yeah.
Potter.
Here's another question, though. Hold on, does that work both ways, though? Because it might not. But do they not know about Hitler? And they just sat back
Oh,
and let
dude.
all that happen?
If you,
They fought in the World Wars. They talk
But-
about it. Newt Scarmander's brother was a war hero in World War One. They talk about it in the Fantastic Beasts movie.
Okay. But then, like,
I don't know what they were fighting about.
the Blitz and all the bombings that were happening, they were just cool with that?
well, they probably all went to like Scotland or
these
something.
wizards?
You know, hit out.
That is true.
Well, the thing is, so
I think we're
you
overthinking
bringing
it.
that up is very funny.
Like,
bec-
just put up a barrier?
well, so bringing that up is very funny because Brendan Lee Mulligan has a podcast episode where he talks with Matthew Mercer, and they literally say the same thing. It's like you are all powerful wizards, and one they were joking about and like you use the world's slowest bird to transfer mail.
Oh, I've seen that.
But then it's also like all this horrible
seen
crap
that.
is going on, and you are just in your own little world. Like, what kind of Illuminati stuff is this? And they're not wrong. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if that was the case, like, you know, I get that. I guess they're supposed to be secret because, like, I don't know why. I guess because Muggles way outnumber wizards. I suppose. I'm assuming that's why. And
if
yeah.
pop culture has told us anything, regular humans do not do well when there are people who are different from us.
Yeah.
X-Men,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
You're not wrong.
So the thing I wanted to bring up, because it came to mind, and so it's the My Hero Academia universe.
I've thought about that one.
Because in theory, for those who don't know, in My Hero Academia, like 90% of the world population has superpowers.
Right.
The problem is, what if you have a really sucky power?
Yeah.
Like, what if it's just the worst power?
Which even
I'd
out
rather
of all
have
the
no
students,
power
there are some that
than a
are kind
bad
of like,
power.
you know.
I don't know.
Like-
that takes me back to like the chance of you getting some kind
Right.
of magic power. I think it'd be more like, what if you? It is kind of still the randomness of you. It's Forrest Gump logic. You know, you never know what you're gonna get.
Right.
Yeah.
But-
That's why I was like, I wasn't sure, because if you're just an average Joe in that universe, you're gonna have a superpower, but you don't know what power you're gonna. You could be like, one of the powers that I think would be terrible is that the invisible girl, because she's invisible
Right.
all the time. She can't turn it off.
Well, Well, you just need to wait, sir.
Well, I
You-
haven't watched enough of it.
You haven't watched enough. They're hinting at some things in one episode. You'll get there. It's okay.
But like it just in general, it's just like there's some powers out there that in that universe that are like that kind of sucks. Like it's
Right.
like
I wish we could see some My Hero Academia from the perspective of the people who have like awful powers, and just like let's see what some really bad powers out there are.
yeah, I have a superpower, but I still work in this grocery store because my superpower is like I don't know, I have like super spit or something like that. Like it's like
Oh no, let's go weirder, man. Let's go weirder. Like what you got? My ears are lug nuts. What do they do?
Right.
Nothing.
That's
ex-
yeah.
They're just there.
exactly.
They're just there. Like I just have this quirk that is lug nut
So like I
ears.
said, I didn't
I
know.
tried to be a hero, but I found out that this is the worst thing that could happen to me.
Because like we talked about earlier, I didn't know where to put it if I wanted to live there or not because it's another superhero universe, and we kind of agreed that living in a superhero universe would kind of just suck in general.
Yeah.
But then if everybody has superpowers, I was like, well, maybe it wouldn't be too bad. But then watching the show, you still have the same issues in when there's not as many superheroes as there are regular people.
Well, and they're
Like-
also talking about it. It's another caste system.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It is because you have the people who have really good superpowers. You have the people who don't have superpowers that are like shunned, and then you have the people who are villains who had good superpowers but didn't know how to use them at the right time, and the people who don't know how to use their powers and they're just average Joes that nobody really looks
Well,
up
I
to.
would.
Yeah, they have like a superpower that just doesn't.
I would
really- you
argue
can't
the
do
fact
anything
that
with
they
it.
don't
So you
have a
just gotta
caste
be a normal
system.
person.
They have a happier perspective.
Well, because there's
on it.
still like government
to a
oversight and
certain
stuff
point.
over the like the
Right.
superheroes aren't invincible. Like they're not all powerful. They can't get away with everything like they do in The Boys. Like
No, it's more like a social. It's more like a social structure, but it's still tiered for sure.
well, and also you know how they mention that like 90-something% of the population has superpower quirks. You know who they never show using quirks? At least in the first, I think I'm in the 5th or 6th season. The police officers. It never shows them using quirks.
Because they probably have not good quirks. Not
Maybe,
good
but, like-
quirks that wouldn't help.
But
them
they
in
don't
their
even
police
show like
officer.
somebody with like horns
That's
or
true.
something.
I'm caught up.
Maybe because it would have been a
May-
lot to draw.
I mean,
when they were making
maybe.
the manga, and so they're like, I don't want to
But
have to.
I'm
draw
just
all
saying,
these
like, even,
extra
like, the-
special
Right,
police
and like
officers.
what is it? Is it the police chief? He's a dog, right? I think, or something.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He looks,
he's like
yeah,
a
he's got like a
dog-head
dog
person or
head, but
whatever.
like, like the average Joe police officers that they show, and they show a lot of them. I don't think I don't remember ever seeing them use a quirk. So maybe that's the thing. If you don't have a quirk, you just become law enforcement.
There are some police officers. Most of them still do. You just don't see a lot of them. But they do talk about it later on. Now that I think about it, even older police
Yeah.
officers from the past, like they still have some quirks
Right.
in there.
Right. It's just like
They're just
it's just that whole ratio.
they don't like to use
Yeah.
them as much.
It's like the whole
Yeah.
ratio seems off when they don't show. Because, like, most, like, even the bystanders, like, sometimes you'll see somebody with, like, a horn, with horns or, feathers or something, but never police officers. But, anyway. And I might be, they might have shown it. I can't think of a time.
And that's something else you'll see later too. More in the argument of the caste system. They do because I was wondering about this watching that show too. Do they talk about the fact that like some of these humans don't look don't look like a human because of their quirk. Like how X-Men would talk about that with certain mutants like Beast
Right.
and Mystique, and how they'll never be accepted and stuff. And they definitely do talk about that in later seasons, about how they have a name for them. I can't remember it. I think they call them homotrophs or something like that. I can't remember. And it's these people that they don't look human because of their quirks, and how there is this idea that they're lesser. They are less than other people in this world because they don't look human. They look misshapen or deformed and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of that
Also,
as well in there.
There is one like place I wouldn't want to live that I'm surprised that neither of you have mentioned yet. And that is Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah.
I've only watched the first season, but
I don't know, man.
With Warhammer 40K, that one's pretty bad.
That one's pretty
like
bad.
I've only watched the first season, but I'm like, yeah, no. Like this is horrible.
I forgot about Attack on Titan. Maybe I blocked it out. Like maybe
It's
I was
still
like,
not worse than Warhammer 40K.
No, it's not worse, but it's like second. It's probably second. Like it's.
I don't know. I don't think it's worse than. I don't think it's worse than The Walking Dead still.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's bad though.
It's bad,
I feel
but
like
don't think
it could be a
Walking Dead
close
bad
third,
still.
close third.
I think it's third. I think it's pretty awful.
Every
up
time
there.
I think about rewatching Attack on Titan, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not strong enough today. Like I don't.
That's tricky when you go into any anime though, because you go into too much of a deep dive into any anime, and you can find some real bad universes. You're like, no, I don't want this to be a universe. Like who made this
Right.
exist? So
Yeah.
yeah, but Attack on Titan,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
not good. I mean, you could also think like Death Note, where there's a literal notebook that somebody could accidentally write your name and how you die, and then you die. Like that's kind of terrifying to give somebody
Right.
that much power. It's still not Attack on Titan, but that's just the same point
Right.
of anime. No. Or how about this? How about the anime of animes of the Dragon Ball universe, where they can have a literal fight, and your universe could have a fight with a whole nother universe in a tournament of power, and if your universe dies, like there's a real chance that you're gone as an average Joe, and you didn't even know it was happening.
Right.
It's just dead
Yeah,
because
that would be pretty bad. But
Like-
that one wouldn't be bad because you wouldn't know. You'd be.
it wouldn't be as bad, but I'm
ignorant.
just saying, like I don't know if there's a good.
In general, I don't think you ever want to live in an anime universe.
Yeah, maybe Hamtaro, but I don't think
I
I
don't-
would. That would be awful.
I don't even know what that is, but
It's an anime about hamsters. It used to show up on TV when I was a kid, and I was like, I don't want to watch this show. It was ridiculous.
because I thought about like the Sword Art Online universe, but then I was like, I don't want to be trapped in a video game for
Right.
like a year.
Right. Now having
You know, like-
VR
And
that
we
in
talked
depth
about
would be awesome.
Pokemon being on the list. We talked about Pokemon being on the list I talked about, but still, like, there's definitely problems there that make it so it's not as good. Like, there's definitely a sect of anime that's probably not that bad, and I think Pokemon and Digimon kind of live there, but there's still some problems. It's not going to be perfect. It can go from, oh, this is great and I love it, to, oh, everything's going to come to a cataclysmic end in the most painful way if somebody doesn't stop this
Right.
type of a situation.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think, if I can say one more thing, a happy medium. I think it's a place that if we had to live in a universe, and we've actually talked about it, but I think it's the medium. It's right there in the middle of the road between we don't want to live there too. I don't think it's that bad, and I do think it's the Doctor Who universe. I think there's enough good parts of the universe that you see where it can be really fun, and that big expansion. There's also some real bad that if you just show up here like this is the place you lived, that'd be
Right.
bad news bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the
I
middle
feel
of
like
the road.
you could make the argument that Star Wars would also be a good happy medium.
It would be. It would be. Like if you're talking about like Isaac, it's not that it would be a safe option, but it definitely would be a fun option. And like being in the Doctor Who universe, like if you could be the companion of the Doctor, sounds like a great time.
And a horrifying
Most
time.
of the time.
Like,
And a horrifying time all at the same time.
This is still though. I would still put Star Wars a little closer to the I want to live there than I would want to live in the Doctor Who universe. Simply because the Star Wars universe would be just that much more exciting.
yeah, but like in the sense of
There's still death in both, but I feel like the idea of being able to use the Force in Star Wars sounds just a little more fun. It's that fantasy element that should get there, and that's why I think it's even a little more. It's more dangerous, but a little more fun than Star Trek, because those Star Trek and Doctor Who, where there's definitely sci-fi elements into it, a lot. They live in a more scientific realm of things that are fiction and pseudoscience, but they're still science-y. Or Star Wars is way more heavy in the
Right.
fiction realm, right? Giving you a bigger possibility of having some kind of special ability. Just as dangerous as the other ones.
right.
Higher chance of being able to do
Right.
something. Maybe.
Yeah. The more we talk about Star Wars universe, the more I'm like, it might. I don't know why it was definitely not my number one. I still don't think it is, but it's definitely a close second, probably.
You ever wonder if Darth Sidious, excuse me, is really that bad of a guy?
Yes.
I mean, he's a
He
bad
murdered
guy.
children. Lots of children he murdered.
Not directly.
Well, I mean,
He
he
ordered
does
them to be
kidnap at least 3 baby Force sensitives.
Yeah.
murdered.
To
Not murder.
experiment
Experiments
on
on.
But he didn't murder them.
But he also ordered the
He
murder
did
of
kill
all the Jedi young
the
kids.
only. Not no, never mind. That's not true. But he did kill Mace Windu, so that's like unforgivable. So
He started it.
did he though?
All they did was go to arrest
Right.
him for breaking
He struck the
law
first blow by slicing and dicing
He
3
str-
Jedi
he-
Masters like they were
by
nothing.
doing that crazy screeching
From a sitting position.
You know, from a sitting position.
He was defending himself. That's what I said.
We got
Is that a hill you're gonna die on?
we
No,
got an
absolutely not.
Imperial
This was a question.
sympathizer.
This was a question I said. I didn't say I agree on him and I like his political stances. All I said was, is he that bad of a guy? And the answer might be yes.
The answer is yes.
Maybe this can
The
be
answer is
another
yes.
topic. Maybe this can be who's the worst fantasy villain?
Who had a point? Who had a point?
I don't think it's Darth Sidious. I don't think he's the worst one out there. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
he's wrong. He's bad guy. Made bad choices.
Yeah.
And that's how we're gonna end it. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on 3 Nerds Deep. As always, we're glad that you join us. Please leave a comment, like, follow, subscribe. We're on.
We have an X account.
Yeah, we
an
do
X
have a
account.
Twitter now at
Oh, we have it.
3 Nerds Deep. Check us out. We'll be posting updates
Adam.
on there whenever we have a new episode.
Adam, did you get your poll up?
My poll.
Yeah, did you get your poll up from Yeah, did you get your poll up for
What was
last
the poll
week?
last week?
For the D&D characters. Do we have a poll up
No,
on a social?
we do not. Maybe I'll put it on this episode.
Didn't raise the polls.
Okay. But yeah, let us know. You know, whether you like the show, give us a like, rate us. Anything helps. We are on, I think, just about every podcast platform that I could think of. We are now on Pandora, which is new. So if you're listening from Pandora, welcome. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this episode. We'll see you next time, and we're out.